and welcome to the show. I am here today going to be taking a look at the latest Formula 1 game. I've said the latest Formula 1 game, F1 2021, a little bit of an early access. Thank you very much to the folks over at Codemasters and EA who got me a little early access to this one. There are various tracks that to play around with in this preview build. I decided to go to Baku. I quite like this track. It's a track I don't know that well, but mostly because I think Formula 1 is about the only race series that run around here. I guess I could be wrong. I've never seen anything else run around here. I don't know the track particularly well, but it is actually quite a fun circuit. I always like the Challenger Street circuits, and this one is good fun. More overtaking opportunities around this one than most, even in Formula 1 cars. So yeah, I thought I'd give it a go here. We're just doing a kind of quick race for this one, so a short qualifying session and then into a 5-lap race. Nothing too crazy for all of this. Unfortunately, on this particular qualifying lap, I hit the curb, and that's something that I ended up doing a fair bit. Kind of bailed out of this one when it wasn't really working all that well. Now, I am going to start off by saying that I'm not the most experienced with Formula 1 cars, whether it be Formula 1 games or whatever. I'm not generally the best when it comes to ultra-high downforce vehicles. I tend not to be able to get as much out of them as I can other kinds of vehicles. That doesn't mean I don't enjoy driving them. These vehicles are good fun. This is certainly a real challenge. I mean, if you played a Formula 1 game before, the handling is going to be fairly familiar. I am not really good enough to tell you any really in detail differences. What I will say is I'm driving this on a controller, and for the purpose of these recordings, and it was pretty good. I feel like I'd be more consistent on a wheel, and I probably would play this one on a wheel more than a controller, but I had a controller plugged in and was able to drive the vehicles fairly well, fairly consistently, as we now try and spool it up for an actual quick lap in this one. It's, as I said, it's a challenging circuit. This you really got to get everything right. The curbs are horrifically mean. That is one thing I have noticed. You really don't want to hit the curbs too. I'm used to being super aggressive with curbs, but you can't do here. We kind of stay wide of turn 1, maybe a little over the exit. If I'd straddle the exit curb out of turn 1, turn 2, again, bobble is a smidge this time. Almost, I don't know if I kissed the wall on the way through there. Got very close. You go quick in the street circuits when you are literally against the wall. You do run the risk of having a very silly accident. Yes, I found the barriers plenty of times. One of the things I did notice that struck me, so there's a lot of customization options, shall we say, with this, in terms of like difficulty settings, how you want your races to be. Also, there's going to be all sorts of settings for career modes. You can choose how fast rival teams develop and all of that kind of thing. Messed up that curve completely. So there's a lot of options. You can really customize how you want the game to be going, but I like sticking damage on the most realistic of settings that we could on here, and I've done a fair amount of racing on Formula 1 games on that, and this one is, I say, the most challenging, but you can get yourself in trouble very easily. And what I mean by that is, here, if you clip the wall ever so slightly, you can get a puncture. And I mean, that's what happens in real motorsport with real Formula 1 cars. You brush the wall, yeah, you'll get away with it sometimes, but sometimes you'll get a puncture. And in this one, this corner here was nasty, and I took sort of punctured a wheel a few times on there from just small little nicks. So you're going to have to be, if you want to, you don't have to run with that level of damage, of course, if you want the game to be a bit more forgiving. But I like that is a setting, that is a thing that can go on. You've got to really, really pay attention. I mean, this was going for a pretty good lap in the end. Not a perfect lap, hit a curb in a little place, a little slow somewhere, but as we head up towards the finish line, long flat-out blast for the Mclaren. Down towards the start-finish line, we would come across that one, and we would move up into a 5th position on the grid. Not bad. Not bad for the Mclaren, and I was fairly happy with that as far as laps go, and that would be the fastest that I would manage in the qualifying session. We jumped back off to the garage, and that would be that one. So we move on to the race. We'd slip back to 6th. Norris would go a little bit faster as we jump into this 5-lap race. As this is just one of the quick modes. I do have some of the assists on in the Formula. I haven't got the hang of the traction control being off in these cars. You can still spin the wheels even with the traction control on. You can still spin the vehicle quite easily. So yeah, it's not so straightforward. But I do have some of the assists on in this one. This was on, I think, 89, 90 something difficulty. I figured out that was about where I was at in terms of hope for a good race. A little bit of sort of launch assistance as well. But as I said, I'm just not experienced with this. Big dive bomb on Norris, who does give me space. The AI are pretty good, actually, at recognising there being spaces. We're going to go side by side through an unusual overtaking spot. We're still alongside the fellow Mclaren. They're battling side by side up front. You can see a Ferrari moving around behind us. We're going to be brave. This is not a place you go for an overtake normally around the outside of Norris, who bobbles a curb. Somebody spits out a bit of front wing ahead of us. Not sure who that came off. We made the pass stick. Took a good few corners that one as you go chasing off after the Red Bulls up ahead. I was not really. Sounds not really excited. I didn't know how that pass was gonna work. That was a brave one. I kind of just launched it around the outside and hoped that the AI sorted themselves out. Norris, almost ended up in the side of Mclaren. They bounced over the curb a smidge, but they got away with it, and we got ourselves up into 5th, which is what we were after. You've got to be careful, of course, around here, though. The huge toe you get down the start-finish straight. You can't really overtake through this section. It's not really going to happen unless someone's made a mistake, really. You've got a really bad run down to this next corner. But a pretty solid start in all of this. Big train of cars now falling behind me as the Mercedes and the Red Bulls bugger off. Now, they're never likely necessarily to compete with those vehicles. If you are, then the difficulty is probably a little bit too easy, perhaps. Here comes my teammate with a good run down the start. We've got no DRS at this particular point. Norris going to the outside, but I'm hoping I could be brave here, and sure enough, speeds equalise. We have a big dive at the first corner. Don't hit the curves. Yes, we learnt the lesson in many a practice session, and that will do the job. And of course, this doesn't really help our lap times. We start fighting like this, you've got to slow each other down. It's going to let the vehicles ahead stretch that a little bit further away. And a brief pause. One of the things I'm very curious to see about this game is it actually has a story mode, which, so not, you still got your creator team and all of that kind of thing, and it looks like some interesting features with that slightly redone with the development of the vehicles. You've got legendary drivers that you can hire as teammates as well. It'll be a very cool thing to have. I look forward to playing around with that. That curve, I can't avoid curbs. I can't do it. But yeah, the main thing that I'll be certainly spending my time with in this game is going to be the kind of creator team and gradually work your way through that. But I'm really curious to see how a story mode is going to work with this one. Now, know very little about it. This build had nothing with it. But in motorsport, you do get some very good stories. And sure, when you do the sort of create a team and you go through, yes, weird events happen, you do kind of create your own stories with that one, but no one's ever really tried a proper story mode for a more serious racing game. Yes, Need for Speeds have kind of tried it, and they've always been a bit iffy. Sure, we'll go with that one. Some of them will be okay, but it's more just been an excuse as to why there is racing going on. But an actual story that follows a racing career has a lot of potential, and I'm really interested to see how it might pan out, to see how it will go, as Lando has a very big run start finish. Again, we're going to do the same thing though. We're going to make the go the long way round. We're a little bit further back for this one. It's going to have to be a really big dive into the first corner. Just about do it in the end. It was a little bit cheeky from me there. We got just about alongside, and the you get a little bobble over that curve and a bit of a slide. Yeah, it was just close enough to getting away. There'll probably be some heart attacks going on the McLaren pit wall, while up ahead Bottas had got passed by the Red Bull. So yeah, the actual story, if done right, I think could be absolutely amazing. I'm really curious. I hope it is really good. It'd be something that'd be fun to see from other games if it is a success, because yeah, motorsport has many great stories. They're different to perhaps a normal gaming story that you would expect, but that doesn't mean they are any less exciting or any less interesting. So I am actually really looking forward to that. We're now trying to chase down Bottas, which I was kind of surprised at. We suddenly just sort of found some pace with the car. I mean, this is all while I'm desperately trying not to do the normal thing that I do of bury the car in the wall somewhere around here, because I've lost concentration for a split second. I mean, it's a slightly bit better than Monaco, but it's so easy to miss a braking point. And there, for example, that was bad news for me. I was just a fraction too late on the brakes, which didn't quite get the corner right, wide on the sort of way in, slow on the exit, and now I knew I was in trouble. We'd only just fended off the car behind for a couple of laps, and that was without DRS, and now we were going to have the big DRS toe. I went to move over, but it was too late by the time we'd got there. And in fact, it wouldn't have mattered either side I had gone. The overspeed, if you like, was a huge amount, but it's not over just yet. With the way this circuit is, we can duck back into the slipstream. We can go chasing down towards the first corner. We get a really good run off the first corner. If we get a good run off the second, of course, we'll get a chance with DRS now to try and fight our way back past. I do run a little bit wide. That time I definitely did kiss the wall, got away with it without any damage. We get a big toe down this next straight, and I think we're going to go for it. And I'll say, Norris defended. That is an AI. That's a proper defence of the position right there. I mean, I could maybe have had a dive, but we'd have been on a really, really wonky line, and I'd be worried I wasn't going to get the car stopped down there. Is the yellow flag further back? Something had gone on through all of that. Bottas was struggling with the Mercedes up there, and yeah, like I was actually really impressed with the way. Okay, admittedly in this race we're only wheel to wheel with Lando. But I'm really impressed with the way the AIs were actually battling. Yes, of course, this is an early preview build. It is not the finished product and so on. But I will say, they were putting up a good fight. They were racing each other quite well. There's a bit of a train going on. This is not too bad of a circuit to overtake on, but it's still not the easiest place to pass. But yeah, the actual wheel-to-wheel racing was really good fun. So that is always a good sign, to say the least, as we head around this final corner. I was hoping we were going to be close enough. I just couldn't get this corner. I just couldn't get onto, I say the start-finish straight. You've got a couple of corners first, I guess, but I just couldn't carry the momentum down here. I know this is me doing something wrong with the cars because I'm not used to this level of speed. My one real shot at this one. If we were going to do something about Norris, it was going to be we were too far back to have a big dive into turn one. It's going to get a good run through one, good run through two, and try that pass up the inside that we failed last time around. Again, not too bad through the first corner. It was turn two that we had to get right, and unfortunately for me, too much speed. I got greedy, I got excited, I got carried away. You'll notice also from the damage indicator that pops up there's a few more bits of your vehicle that can get into trouble. There's like floor that can be damaged and so on, which is another thing to worry about. Just thing to worry about with a real Formula 1 car. But yeah, just pushing it to it. It was the final lap. I kind of had to go for it, so I did, and then we lost the back end going through the next corner. And it's that point where I said, right, okay, yeah, we're done for. We pushed it as hard as we could. We pushed the Mclaren to the limits of my skill, and at that point, we're going to just say, you know what? I'm going to settle for sixth. I can't do any more. In fact, it's actually both me and Norris were going quicker than Bottas in this one. More laps, and we could probably have found a way past the Mercedes. But I just didn't want to stick the car into the wall at the end of this, having already pinged off of it twice and got quite like that. Could have very easily have taken out a tyre with a slide. The big oversteer moment I got could have put me in the wall and punched the rear tyre. So yeah, it was just kind of a calm down. We were done for this race. But yeah, I'm impressed with this game, and it looks amazing. Formula 1 games have always looked fantastic, and I mean, yeah, this one does look absolutely fantastic. I'm really excited to try this one. The career mode has always been good fun. The building your own team is always exciting, and I do like the idea of being able to bring in some legendary drivers, if you will. As I said, story mode sounds like a fascinating idea that I am really, really looking forward to giving a try. A rather different podium, shall we say, from this Grand Prix, from this Azerbaijan Grand Prix, than from the actual one. But we crossed the line in the end in the sixth place. Had a really, really good fight. So yeah, if the AI and the races are going to be anything like this, I shall be very much looking forward to it. Apparently, Ocon got driver of the day. I don't know where they started, but apparently they had a good run through all of that one. So there we go. That's going to be it for a quick look at F1 2021. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I look forward to playing more of this. Maybe there'll be a series on this one in the future, trying to build FailRace Motorsport into a world-conquering team. Who knows? That shall be it from me. Thank you for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.